In a world full Hi guys, how have you been? My name is Deborah Kisongochi and this is my safe space on Number One TV. Thank you so much for joining us every Saturday on Number One TV as we bring to you inspirational conversations that can change a perspective in your life, conversations that can make you learn a skill. And guys, as we know per usual, we always bring our guests on board who can help us to converse around life skills and things that can motivate us or push us off our limits. Guys, of course, I've brought a friend on board, somebody who is very instrumental in his career-wise, in his field. And the last time I knew him, he was a serial entrepreneur here in Bungoma County. He's laughing. I think you can see that. He will tell us why he's laughing when I say he was a very serial entrepreneur here in Bungoma County. And the last time I saw him was in the year 2022, and I'm glad I'm seeing him here today. Thank you so much. Welcome to our show.
Surely.
Welcome to my safe space.
Was it be that serious?
Maybe I give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to our viewer.
Oh, great.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
That's too much that you've said.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, my name still remains Amos Kaburu.
Yes.
I'm currently experiencing life.
Okay.
And I experience life in 360 degrees.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
So what I do is to live life in a 360 way,
mm-hmm.
and also support people to live
okay.
a holistic life,
mm-hmm.
to approach wholeness.
Mm-hmm.
But most importantly,
mm-hmm.
there is another element added to it,
okay.
that we call authenticity.
Uh-huh.
Kajwangu would have said, Kizungu kubwa. But good to see you, Deborah.
Good to see
you.
You
know what you are not telling people?
Uh-huh.
The last time you saw me, I was literally down. I was putting on some, and what you're not telling people is that you are taking me on a date.
Oh my
to buy me coffee somewhere.
Guys, you already know I'm a good person. I take people out for coffee. If you want me to take you out for coffee.
I was the coffee expert.
Oh yes, yes you were.
I was the coffee expert around.
Yes.
But you were very kind enough, I
yes.
think. Yes. It was what I may have called my last dinner in Bungoma.
Yes.
But let me tell you.
Yes.
So ulijaribu kunisaidia.
That is what friends are for.
Literally
mm-hmm.
worked hard to make sure that my stay around was possible.
Yeah.
This is of course by God.
Yeah.
So we moved on to other things.
Yeah.
We tried.
Yeah.
It was a phase.
Yeah.
But maybe it also provided us with a lot of opportunity to plan for what we are now doing.
Yeah.
When I look at running a coffee house around,
mm-hmm.
which many people didn't know me.
Yeah, they didn't know the face behind the coffee
house. They did know the face behind
well, actually,
the coffee
maybe
house.
Just if you can talk to our viewers, maybe you can mention what the coffee house was, because I'm very sure there are people out there who are wondering, I was a coffee person, what are you talking about? If you don't mind.
Uh-huh. So we came around with the brand.
Yeah.
It was called Royal Coffee House in
yes,
Garden.
Yes. We
are located somewhere in Kandui,
mm-hmm.
and we were very much interested in
many
things that we were trying out at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe it's a good thing or a bad thing when you come from the world of research.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we were able to click with the vice chancellor and other people who, because we were so much interested in data, and there were so many questions which we were able to tell at that time. So wanted to try something a little bit non-conventional.
Yeah.
We had a tag of work, relax, connect, because it was purely about providing a space where people could work, provide a space where people could relax, and at the same time people could be able to connect. We made an attempt. We were around for close to a year.
Yeah.
And finally, we closed for innovation as a polite way. And when we are through with the innovations, we'll be back.
So maybe,
but all in all, I think making up all that, we didn't close kind of. There's been many lessons that we carried through.
Yeah.
And the program which I now run called the Life 360 picked a lot of experiences
from that.
A lot of experiences. So we look back at Bungoma and feel that it's where the seeds were really planted. And maybe it's just the timing of the idea may not have been so much appropriate. And of course, we also had the lessons that we picked around panic investments and such.
Yeah.
What is the best place for you to think about
thinking
of an idea, especially for entrepreneurs, guys who are in diaspora, think about what they can do back home.
Yes.
How do you get in? How do you support local enterprises and all that? I know that many people have always been willing to invest back home.
Yeah.
And so sometimes they wonder, how do I go about it? And so we picked our own lessons. It's a good thing. Left us with a lot of sour grapes in the mouth, dates,
Yeah.
which we still service to date.
Yeah.
But good lessons all in all.
Yeah.
So it's been great. It's been great. I'm just so shocked that I have not seen you from that November of 2022,
2022.
when I just wanted to go back to Nairobi, and
Yeah.
the only thing I was carrying was my laptop bag, which was almost torn.
Yeah.
And you just like, I'll buy you coffee. And
Before you go back.
before you
catch
go
your
back,
your bus.
and before I actually went to catch Easy Coach.
Yeah.
I remember I had come to Bungoma, whichever. I went back on Easy Coach. I came to Bungoma when I had several millions.
Yeah.
I borrowed fare to go back to Nairobi.
Wow. Maybe I know there's an entrepreneur out there who is watching you and is wondering, they might have visited Royal Coffee House and they have seen the glamour in it, they have seen the good food, the good vibes, but they didn't know what was happening behind the scenes. Maybe maybe if you can share one or two insights that maybe made Royal Coffee House to go to close indefinitely for renovation.
I think we had a very powerful conviction
Yeah.
that we had deep with my partner when we thought about it.
Yes.
And we've always had passion for young families and young people.
Yeah.
And we kind of felt that it was good to provide a space where young people, and particularly young families, can find spaces where families can heal. Because young families have a lot of challenges.
Yes,
still,
yes.
That's why I say that the vision still lives even through Life 360.
Yes.
And so we thought of what could we do. We had a neighborhood with got that property. It's just one of those things you're like, let's buy it. It's not something that was so fundamental.
Yeah.
But then we're like, in such a space, what should we do? So we were right from the beginning. So we were driven by a lot of conviction, a lot of conviction, our Christian faith, the kind of family that we like to raise.
Yes.
And the operational challenges were so real. Operational challenges, particularly working capital, was a big issue. We self-financed the investment, a big deal. We had decided to construct. We had great plans for it.
Yeah.
But along the way, we faced some serious cash crisis. Some of our main sources of funds were cut off.
Yeah.
I lost my job at the heart of it, and the business was just starting.
Wow.
And I was financing it through debt.
Yeah.
And a lot of this working capital was also coming from my own
pockets.
Pockets and such.
Yeah.
So it was very difficult for us to run the operations, particularly running a coffee house is pretty expensive. One of the things that we never had done very well was to do survey around what we needed as the supplies for us to prepare the meals that we are preparing.
Yeah.
So there are times when we had to import chicken from Kiambu. We had to import cheese from
How dare you
Nanyuki.
import chicken from Kiambu and you're in Bungoma County?
We struggled to get broiler that we wanted and the type that we had always wanted.
Yeah.
We struggled getting through the type of potatoes that we'll always want. And so a lot of things that we had to do, we had to get supplies from Nairobi. So it was very expensive to run the coffee house. And then there were also a lot of other challenges, for instance, power, the erratic nature of power. And so it was not possible for us even to power like some of those very expensive gadgets that required. And so even because of the power fluctuations, sometimes even some of those machines will just blow off. So sometimes, and then you have to get a technician. The nearest will be Kisumu. Or sometimes even you have to get technicians from Nairobi to come. So it was very expensive.
Yeah.
And so the strain on the revenue that was streaming in was extremely high. And so when all these challenges became a little bit too much, we had to make a bold decision and say we tried what we could, and sadly, we just sent a message and said, we've closed for renovation. And yes, we closed for renovation.
Wow.
One has to look at the Bungoma people And we've been discussing that we owe them something. And we are sure we'll come back and we'll have something for them.
We're waiting.
Because the Bungoma people are very kind to us.
Yeah.
They gave us a Google rating of 4.9. If I look at the demographics and how it came to build the idea, maybe also coming from that academia, helped in a big way.
Yeah.
Because we're able to observe a lot who was visiting us, what kind of people, and I had a great team of young people. We really wanted to support local enterprises, and the community was super, super supportive, including the university.
Yes.
Super, super supportive of the great ideas that we had. So the vision was there, but the implementation was a little bit of a challenge, mirrored up by all these operational challenges. So for somebody coming up, think very well. It's good to think abstract, but know that implementation. Kwa ground. Kwa ground. And I can tell you, like for you, you literally helped me to push that thing.
Wow.
Single-handedly.
Wow.
The marketing things that we did at Royal Coffee House, I have never seen a person devoted, and we didn't know you. I think you just walked in and you
I was just a client who walked in.
Yes,
and
just
wanted,
a client who walked in and you just loved it. And you really supported us. You put us on the platforms. Even you spend your own money on the first. I owe you, honestly, I owe you something. Yes, I know there's a time you're great. You're great. You did everything during the fair.
Yeah, the trade fair.
During the trade fair, we were there. We worked with you. We thought of an idea we called the Food Expo. And it was just great. Even that expo left us with dented pockets. So it's a great thing.
Yeah. Now again, I think you mentioned something. I think you have a background in education, right?
Yes.
Do you think you having a background in education and investing in food industry affected the nature of how things turned around for you in your business?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so because my partner originally was from the food and beverage industry, of course, before she branched to other things.
Yes.
But we had a good understanding. Number two, we travel across the world, so we knew what goes into good, and we had a fine touch for good things. We knew exactly what we wanted, and if you asked us, we had a good understanding of which model, and that's why we never struggled. We knew that if this has to happen, this is where we get. Had it not just been for the shock that came with my lose of the job at that time, I don't think that we'll really have closed because we were almost hitting it. And our traffic was moving on pretty well. Very, very well. So I do not think that it had anything to do with our background. And if I see to reflect even on how we came up with the idea, things that we came up with and never things. For instance, even right from the design of Royal Coffee House and Garden, you know, we had constructed an experience for someone that will receive you right from the gate. And so we knew as soon as you come in, we'll receive you from the gate. And we had a plan that says you have to impress within 27 seconds. And worked with young people to get it right. We picked these children, they were just from colleges around, and they came in, they were willing to learn, and we did, and everything was well modeled. It was very, very well modeled. Even we knew when to regulate the volume of the radio. At what point do you add the volume? At what point do you increase the volume? We understood. We were careful. Yes, we were very, very careful.
Clients.
Yes, with our clients. We honestly loved our clients. That's why we'll even ask them, is it your first time here? If you are here, did you love the experience? What is it that you didn't like? What can we do? I'm telling you, it was just amazing. So there can be a lot of factors that can convolute something.
I have many friends who've invested in businesses here in Bungoma County, and I heard somebody say, I won't call it a meme, a statement that if you can make it in Bungoma as a business person, you can make it anywhere in the country. Do you think Bungoma clans were a hard nut to crack for you?
I don't think that they were a hard nut to crack. If on the Food Expo day, we hosted more than 200 people.
Oh, yeah, true.
We hosted more than 200 people. And it's not that, I mean, Deborah, you know we worked on that thing with you within 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
and people are there. So I do not think, people still crave for good experiences. I've seen a lot of copycats around of what we try to do. And honestly speaking, even I see some of my clients, right, and I'm like, when will you be back? So I know that the Bungoma people are craving for an experience.
For sure.
For a certain kind of conviction. And I'll tell you, for instance, that let convictions carry the day. Because money is never an issue. We may have been through the trenches, but it was never about the money. For instance, we have been very clear. as a family.
Yeah.
No money from alcohol will pay school fees for our children. So we were very categorical.
Yeah.
And even we used to tell our staff that no matter what happens, rather than sell alcohol, we'd rather close shop. That's exactly what we did.
Wow.
Because when we were faced with such kind of challenges that now the only way, even now, we were like, there's no need to panic. This is not the end of everything. It's not that we are paying to anybody rent. This is our own facility.
Yes.
We invested in and we are doing it at our own pace. We have got bigger plans. The company that was supporting the whole idea, as Roy will say, work, relax, connect.
And connect, yeah.
Kayam, which was supporting the whole idea, it was all about families. So we knew that the conviction around families was there. That's what even we are doing now with the Life 360 experience. So it never went away. And I do not think that Bungoma was a hard nut to crack. Bungoma was very kind to us. It provided us with a good opportunity. I even wouldn't be so derogatory to say that Bungoma did to us character development. That is not true. We got, I mean, who didn't eat at Royal Coffee? We fed the governor, we fed all these people, we fed the vice chancellor, the entire university community. I mean, so what more would you want? We have a lot of success stories to talk about Bungoma. So I do not think that even as we walk in now, maybe the only thing now is that now I can walk in freely. That time, I wouldn't want anybody to know who I am, so I could be there, but no one would know. Of course, people will be like, probably, but now at least we can walk around with more freedom because it was intentional. We never wanted to be the face that is seen. We really wanted the brand to run on its own so that it was never about us. It is about the brand itself.
Wow. Guys, I think if you're an entrepreneur and you're out there, you're here and you're learning all the skills, all the mistakes that we've done as entrepreneurs. From this show today, you learn that it is okay to make mistakes. And what happens is, what is important is how you pick yourself. We're talking about how you can turn your life around in a 360 way to pick yourself up from wherever you are. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're out there and you've been wondering, did I make the right decisions? Did I make a mistake investing into this business? Keep it here. And thank you so much for being here with us. Maybe there's just somebody, an entrepreneur who is out there and they're asking, at this point as we're talking in 2025, they're asking themselves, did I make a mistake investing into this business? Maybe what advice would you like to put out there?
Thank you. I have had experiences of trying to invest right from an early age in many areas, and I have a history of many failed things. A lot of failed things. I've tried farming, I've tried selling milk, I've tried shop, I've tried mpaka smoky, hizo vitu zote, popcorn, hizo vitu zote, before we settled on to this. And even after it failed, we also still made some an attempt to do other things around.
In Bungoma County?
Yeah, still in Bungoma. And of course, it drives me to the question you're asking me. One of the things is that be genuinely interested in the people supporting you, especially your customers. My customers were amazing. There's a young lady who looked up to me and she really supported me on the next idea. Unfortunately, we only made like 5,000 from that business. And we
Which
lost
business
again.
was this?
We tried an Airbnb around again. And
here in Bungoma County?
Just here in Bungoma. And it's just amazing how. But the experiences of building Life 360 and the company associated with it, because our design has always been around, let the product come first rather than the structure. And so you'll hear us talk more about the Life 360 experience because that's what we've had the opportunity to experience live. But when it comes to the company itself, which is Opticam, it's been more than just the issue of a company altogether. So we've had the opportunity of picking up the lessons, and one of it has been that there's a difference between the numbers on Excel and the ground as it is. And one of the things that trust the process. Don't put a lot of strain on the business, because a lot of times the reason why businesses really strain is when we put a lot of strain on them. That is the first thing. So be patient with your business, but then number two, don't panic. Don't invest while panicking. I remember we opened a second shop in Kibabi, and people were like, these guys must be doing extremely well. But you see what had happened, I had taken now some of my savings and pension. And we decided to set up a small shop.
Okay.
I think we never made even 50,000 from that shop. It was the worst of the mistakes that we did around the same. And when I sit back and reflect on it, it's characteristic of the panic investment. So a lot of times people make panic investments. So it's good to step back when it's not working, look at why is it that it hasn't worked. Then you spend time to try and recalibrate, organize your mind. Because as an entrepreneur, your peace of mind is the first capital that you need. You need peace of mind. If you cannot have the peace of mind, you really won't do much. I think that's one of the things that I've learned. So there's the textbook definition and way of doing things, but then there's the ground of how things work. But then also do business with what you call businesses with fundamentals. Have some of these convictions, like what we had. Maybe if we had branched off now to do, because people are like, now, you know, you will be doing better kama mngekuwa mnauza hapa mboga za kienyeji, mnauza hata pombe, mwingine hata hoja akasema hii biashara ingekuwa mzuri, and then kuuza chakula ya wa Chinese, and I will tell my staff, but that person who was coming is actually the client. Why are they refocusing us again onto other clients? So it just doesn't make sense as such. Love your customers. Pull through with the conviction. It's about stories and seek to understand patterns that you're trying to do. And one of our burden was around looking at the demographics of the people who ate from us. And most of them were young women, most of them were women. So we really tried to understand. In fact, by the time we were closing, we had actually started a product which was just around providing Mondays as girls' day only.
I remember you mentioned the idea.
And we had even started providing a big platter. You just come and you are like, you are like, if you come 4 of you, we give you that platter. It's full of everything. You just have a time to hang out. Because again, when you are a young woman around, what do you do after work? There's very little that you can do around.
Come on.
So and that's why you find that our clubs are filled from Monday to Sunday. And we really try to fight such kind of things because we have a responsibility to protect the societies about it. Because those young women are our sisters, they are our wives, they are our mothers, and soon they'll also, I mean, they become mothers to our children. So we had that kind of a conviction. And so carry through with your conviction. And I remember when things became so tough, and I was coming from Kibabi on a motorbike. There was a young man who was very good because the first time I ever slept in hospital was while I was in Bungoma. And little did I know that even I was going through depression. I didn't even just know. And so I'd reach out to him. He was called Solomon. He was a very kind young man who helped me supply food all over because we would either allow you to eat from the restaurant
or deliver to your home.
You, or you come and carry it. And people love the way we package food.
Definitely.
The packaging was pretty good.
So
Solomon had carried me from Kibabi, and I was coming to Kandui on one Saturday morning, and I wrote a text message to some 2 friends. I just wanted to tell them that this is closure that we've had, because we had contemplated it from around April. By the time we were closing the doors in September, we had gone through a series of steps trying to check what can we do, and we're like, no, let's pay attention to what matters most. We survive, then we can think about it later. So I wrote this text message to a guy who was a very senior executive in a local bank, and we met him just again by chance. He had come to Kibabi as one of the guest speakers during the career, and the vice chancellor allowed us to serve breakfast to his guests. And guys were like, wait, I mean, where does this food come from? And this food was amazing. What they didn't know is that we had even struggled to raise the 3,000 shillings to prepare the breakfast. And the guys were just munching the way they were so happy. I was like, you know. So these 2 young men, Brian and Movin, boss,
we're doing well.
We're doing well.
We're back.
We're back. And when we went to the hall in the university, and Dennis stands up and says, you know what? If you want to be an entrepreneur, you must have purpose. Today I met a man with a purpose. Come here! And I rushed to the stage and spends the next 5 minutes pitching for us. Of course, traffic tried to improve at that time and such. So we told him that, you know what, Dennis, we tried.
Whoa.
We have to close. And I can assure you, Dennis has never spoken to me from that day.
Oh my goodness.
He was so disappointed. Super disappointed. All my messages, whether email, whether text, whether WhatsApp, Dennis does not reply. And he's a senior executive in one of the leading banks. He was so disappointed. He was like, you just made that decision when I was just about to give you the money that you needed. That's how we lost it. So sometimes you just need that consistency. Push and push and push. You just don't know who is watching. Another guy now, of course. This guy is the one who helped us draw the place. Everyone's like, who drew this place because of the ambience that it had?
Yeah.
I was speaking to this friend of mine. He runs groups of schools in Nairobi. And this guy's like, tell me how the place is. And I explained to him, and he picks up a piece of paper and writes and says, tuchore hii, weka building hapa, weka hapa, washrooms, wacha hapa, garden ikae hapa.
Yes.
Sawa, suko sawa. Then I come, and I'm one person who is very consistent. The guys who worked on my property are guys who've done all my work, any form of construction that I've done, including my houses in the village. They are the ones who worked on them. So I always want to carry my people along, because I'm like, no, this is a good thing. I never want to lose relationships, and maybe this is what has helped us to build Life 360.
Yeah.
And so write to this guy and tell him, Chris, you know what?
We're closing.
We're closing. And I was speaking to a friend of mine this morning, and Chris wrote a text back to me. It's like very, very close to my heart. And he told me, you know what, Mr. Kabul, before I hacked it with the schools, I tried many things.
Oh, wow.
And they kept failing. But if you remain truly consistent with what you're doing, one day something will work out. Not something will come up, something will work out.
Yeah.
And it gave me a lot of patience, even in terms of building what I've been building over time, in spaces where we support people through very difficult conversations, transformational journeys as individuals, as groups. We see people break down, people really think about their, and just the transformative way of the Life 360, what is done even to our own selves, myself, the kind of things we've done with it and spaces we've walked to, and the time is taken. And you can imagine, build a Life 360 for 2 years without a single coin from it.
Now, before we get into Life 360, at the time when you're closing Royal Coffee House, how was your mental state?
Bad. I had lost it. Completely, I had lost it. But why I say that is important to look at those lessons is an entrepreneur's state of mind is the first capital. Protect it.
Oh, wow.
Protect it. I stayed at Life Care for 3 days. And I was not sick. And it's the first time
you're being admitted.
I was ever admitted to
in a hospital.
I was constantly on painkillers, headaches throughout. And sometimes it's good to let go and say, you know what, I did my best. But you don't lose. And because the point is that as an entrepreneur, you must remain loyal to your purpose, not to things, not to. They're just a means to us realizing the bigger purpose. So understand your purpose, because if all you care is about the money, then when that thing crashes, you're finished. But if you're very clear in your mind, and that's one of the things that I've learned, of course, and so we spend a lot of time even in Life 360 talking about it. Who is your support system?
Yes.
Oh my God. That's everything.
Whoa.
Support system.
Now you've picked yourself up at Life 360.
Yes.
How did you now build yourself to build a brand that not only helping other people, but is now helping you yourself too?
Random conversations. Random conversations. And I'll tell young people, if there's one thing that you must know, know how to ask questions. Random conversations.
Yes.
Just a friend. You know what?
Wow.
I'm available. And it's like this friends like, are you available? We talk to some people, and it's like, why not? I'm there. And we spend time talking. And you know what this friend of mine tells me? You know what? You see, I'm jobless, and we're paying debts. We're almost at the verge of being auctioned. I mean, all cars are grounded. Literally, your life has really. And you know how villages speak. Oh, jamaa alikuwa na majini bwana, kila kitu imekwisha. So they can say anything.
True.
The children in school and all those kind of things. It's a story for another day. But this friend is like, you know what? I have an offer here. But you must prove that you'll be around for 9 months.
Whoa.
You know what is in it? 13,000 Kenya shillings.
Per what?
A month. You built it.
Wow.
You built it.
Wow.
For 2 years.
Yes.
not even single income from it. And we're very clear. You know what? This one should never be strained by what we went through.
Yeah.
Provided experiences to young people,
Yes.
places, and it's like, no. It's just about sharing our stories.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. And you know, sometimes most of us, personally, I've experienced this because some of us, we are believers of holding. When we are in the deep end, we hold. We don't see the light at the end of the tunnel at all. So we are holding back. We're not talking to anybody. But we don't know that even sometimes just talking, like the way we are hosting you on My Safe Space on Number One TV today, you sharing your story, you might not even be healing somebody out there. You're healing yourself. You know, people don't know that part of.
How long has it taken for us to schedule this interview?
Oh, wow. Longest time.
Yeah, so you obviously don't expect that.
Yeah.
And what we've realized even with Life 360 is that you don't walk around telling everyone
Yes.
your story. No.
Yeah.
It has really to be a certain safe space that is created within self and also with those that you reach out to. We live in times when, I mean, you need to ask a few questions to calculate the amount of respect to give to someone. If you're in Nairobi, you're like, unaishi wapi? You calculate the amount of respect to give you.
True.
Unakaa Islands, respect yako inafika hapa. Unapanda matatu gani za kwenda? So respect is calculated.
Very true.
And that's why even sometimes you go to some of the most frustrating meetings, are alumni meetings. Guys begin talking big, you know what, when I left here, then I'm now. No. So
Oh
you
my
need,
goodness, yeah.
but there is an element within Life 360, the last one. We call it the legacy project, but it is a small part of it that we allow very few people to do it. And it's called Project Zero. What is Project Zero? It's a project you intentionally start knowing that it will fail.
Whoa.
Yes.
Intentionally.
Intentionally.
And it will fail.
It will fail. So you have to make a choice for it to fail or not.
Wow.
It is not for everyone. Why? Because let me tell you, Deborah, at a certain point, you lose something very close to you.
True.
You lose somebody you love, you lose a parent, you lose a child, you lose a job, you'll fail that exam. You will miss out that opportunity. You will be conned. We've been conned by many people. Been conned by many people. Wow. We walk around with other people's debts as well.
Yeah.
So as we also get injured, we've also injured other people in the process. It's a very, very expensive journey and process.
Wow.
So you must know that there is a day coming. Make hay while the sun shines. That's the reason why Joseph was a prime minister.
Yeah.
To collect the harvest, because famine was coming. And I can assure you, it will come.
Famine is always coming.
Can you imagine where I am? I don't watch news. I don't bother about what happens with the politics of this country at all.
Wow.
At all. It doesn't bother. It doesn't bother.
Is it healthy?
It's immaterial. When I was alone in the trenches, how did the politics help me? Are you getting it? Protect your sanity.
Yeah.
Protect your sanity.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
So it's not for everyone, but there are things which I'll tell anyone, preserve at all costs. Even when we do at 360, we say you must be very intentional towards them. And one of them is family.
Yeah. Wow.
Family.
Wow. I'm very sure I'm not the only one breathing in and breathing out at this point, because I know there are very many entrepreneurs out there, not only from Bungoma County, from Western region, from the country, because people are also watching us on YouTube on My Safe Space, and we have a very beautiful family there who support this content. Yeah. So I'm very sure somebody out there is watching this story and they're inspired. I know there's somebody out there who wanted to close that shop. Amos has told us it is okay to close that shop because your sanity matters a lot. At the end of the day, that is the first investment into your business, because your mental state is not at its level best. Trust me, that business will go into, what did you call it, into the trenches or what?
Trenches, yes.
Oh my goodness, wow.
And sometimes you don't need to do anything wrong.
Wow. Oh, wow.
I mean, the CEO of Nokia stood in public and cried and said, you know what? We didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
You don't need to do anything wrong. Times can just change.
Very true. Very
Accept
true.
it.
Yes.
So the idea is I mean, even if you loved Simu ya Jamii so much because it was your conviction, I mean, nobody is going to buy it. It's an idea whose time has come to an end. Accept it. If you are selling
changes.
Typewriters, accept it.
Wow.
Funga.
Wow.
But this something called support system, which I think is what makes some of us to smile here.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The support system, the challenge, and what we try to now help people, a support system does not refer to friends. It doesn't.
Oh,
There are
really?
people you connect with.
Yeah.
Like Deborah, we connected. And you know, we didn't connect direct. Even for you, you didn't know that I was the one. You kept on talking to my manager.
I know.
Even in my own presence, and you had no idea who these guys. And it was like, that is our boss. And
I know.
because I was there in
Yes.
my in fact, at one time I was the waiter
Yeah,
there.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I was also earning a salary from there, and guys giving me tips. And there's a guy who came to poach me from my place, took me to his place to Kangal. Yeah, great experiences around.
Oh my goodness.
A support system refers to a significant group of people who ask you difficult questions, very difficult questions. And those difficult questions make you go sober.
Yeah.
That is what every entrepreneur needs.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you could just be following the noise in your head. Oh, nimeona watu wanauza asali. And you're like, yeah,
That is the in
mzuri.
business, yeah.
This is the in.
Yes.
You need a few people who pump some sense into your head and be like, are you sure? And of course, as an entrepreneur, you must always have two people. Number one, a finance support system. Two, a legal support system. Watakusaidia.
Yeah.
Usijaribu kurani biashara kama huna rafiki. Sio yule ambaye anakuandikianga paragraph mrefu ya legal opinion. Unamwambia hapa kimomana, anakuambia we, hiyo barua hata usiandike hivyo.
Yeah.
Fanya hivi.
Yeah. Wow.
You cannot afford to go through business without the support of those two people. Wow. Of course, people say also have support of the policemen. It is still fine, and the politicians. But those two are very. And when they tell you, please listen to them. Because they are trained to look at risks around business continuing. They'll be like, you know what? This one in another 6 months. These are the red flags. Don't ignore. Don't ignore. But don't, again, as I've said, don't invest while panicking. Don't.
Oh, wow, guys, we're not going to invest in 2025 while panicking. We're not going to see our friends flourishing in a sector and we say that is where we want to go and invest, because that is the most of the mistakes we do as entrepreneurs.
A lot of times.
You look at your friend, maybe they have a boutique and they are making sales and you're like, I need to open a
I
boutique.
have a good voice.
Yeah.
Why is Deborah doing this? I can also do the same.
I can also do a YouTube channel. Yeah,
and this experience can change your life upside down. And that changing upside down, I can tell you, is that Life 360.
Wow.
And we really were intentional. And I think you remember, and I like the fact that even you picked up that idea very well, supporting young women in entrepreneurs, because it's part of the vision that we had. How do we support young women with ideas that they have? You know, you walk around, some of them are even running businesses that are not registered, they don't have bank accounts, they can't tell the difference between sales and profits. Where anauza tu akispend, anauza tu akispend, ajui what are sales, what is cost of sales, end month ikifika 5 years sijalipa rent.
Yes. Na nimekuwa nauza.
Yeah, so even what you call business development services within entrepreneurship, you're thinking about enterprise development. What do you need? Business planning, marketing, and most critically what we've talked about, the issue of mental health for entrepreneurs. It's something, but I can tell you a lot of these young entrepreneurs are going through a lot. And what I can tell someone is that please be kind. You know, some of us, sometimes we are very rough. By the time you start writing that harsh comment, please take a minute to talk to them.
Yeah.
We had clients who sometimes we served bad food and they'll come back and be like, you know what, I have eaten your food for the last 6 months. What was the problem with the food today?
Yeah.
We'll listen to it and be like, hey, you know what, no matter the losses, prepare them another meal. I mean, I am a member of Bungoma Rental. I'll see but I can tell you the comments we received, there was no single negative review. So again, also, when you're also doing your business, credibility matters a lot. We know we've injured some people here and there. We have madeni ya watu hapa na pale. Tunalipa, and we are determined. We will clear anybody. We owe anything. We will clear.
Yes.
That is the debt in our heart as the partners in the business. That one we are committed. But I can tell you, please, before you give that comment, think about you bringing down. This girl has spent a lot, and I speak passionately about young women because I know what it means. Some of them they just finished their Kibabu University. They didn't know what to do. They just stayed around trying to do something. Please be kind to someone. It takes effort to build a business. Wow. It takes a lot of effort. Wow. Just be kind. Just be kind. When you came and my girls, maybe they have not done the right thing. Please, even just a simple word of that was good is helpful. But there's a way, and by the way, if you ever want to know the true worth of a person, look at how they treat people they consider to be below them. Whoa. How you go to my restaurant and you treat and for instance, like I was very categorical. I used to tell my girls, if I find you drinking within 500 meters of the enterprise, you are gone. Wow. Because we have also to protect them. The problem is that also some entrepreneurs they really misuse people's children. You don't bother about them at all. So you see people's children being wasted their lives, and you're like, for as long as they serve me, that is it. But I'm grateful that we had that understanding of building value-driven enterprises that has been very helpful for us to reach where we have reached. Wow. We are not there yet, but we are grateful. We've lived it. It's practical. The grit that you develop, you prepare for losses. Now we know. And it was like, what is the worst that can happen? What is the worst that can happen? We're like, bring it on.
Wow, thank you. I think today we might just even change the name of this show to Life 360, because guys have been learning a lot through this show today, and it's sad that we have to wrap up this conversation. I know Mr. Amos Kaburu will still come back to My Safe Space because we have a lot of things that we have to talk about. And I think before we just close up the show, maybe there's an entrepreneur out there who's been listening since we started, and we coming to the end of the show, and maybe they were at the verge of giving up. Maybe they were at the verge of maybe their mental set is not in the right state right now. Maybe if you could just look directly into that camera and talk to them, what will you tell them?
What you are going through is not unique. You can restart at any given time. Just remember the fundamentals of where you started, why you started. Yeah. Let them give you the energy. Sometimes all that you just need is to encourage yourself. You never know. It will just be at that point before you hit it. A little bit more patience. When you are about to close, don't decide. Let those that matter decide for you. Oh. Transfer that burden to others.
Oh. Guys, I think by now you now understand why this is a safe space, and thank you so much for watching My Safe Space on Number One TV. Till next time, my name is Deborah Kisongochi.